Hey, what's up everybody? I think it's been quite a while since I put up a video, or uploaded a video. The reason why is actually because of this game, Path of Exile. Now this is my first build for this game. I actually have been playing it quite a bit, went through a lot of characters, and this is the first one that I really actually been having a lot of fun with. It is kind of feasible for higher levels. This is level 50. You still got another 50 levels to go, but it does slow down quite drastically at a certain point. So this build is rather basic, and at the bottom of the video in the description I decided to put the grand total of all the passive stats, along with what gems I'm using, and well, yeah, what skill gems, and then also the support gems that I'm using, and then just some other basic things. With this build, I have no uniques with it. It's just all yellows, so it's straightforward, nothing crazy. It's all passives, and the way I made this character was I decided to use a two-handed weapon and for this an axe, and I wanted to have huge amounts of damage from that, and then just try to revolve everything around that along with survivability. Survivability kind of takes a backseat to the damage and attack speed. So you'll kind of see that during this gameplay. I'll put up the skill tree right now. But anyway, as you can see, I kind of, if you've been putting in thousands of hours of this game, you'll probably take one look at the skill tree and be like, oh, well, what the hell's this? And really, I don't care. That's just the way I decided to make it. And it doesn't matter to me because I can make one and have it back up to 50 in, a day or two. So it's just the way I like to play. Experiment around a little bit, see how far off the beaten path you can go, what works, what doesn't. That's what makes this game quite a bit of fun. Is all of your decisions have consequences because you can't really go back and do it. Either gets really expensive or you just don't have enough points, anything like that. As far as bartered gems or well, whatever you call them, tokens. Uh, anyway, so what I did with this was I wanted to maintain all of the physical damage. I didn't use any fire damage skills that throw out elemental. I just went with cleave, leap, slam, and sweep for my AoE and movement, and then Vengeance for my counter move. So it gives me a 30% chance to have a 360-degree attack around me anytime I get hit with, I think, a 1.2 second cooldown. And then finally for my single target, I have Heavy Strike. So as you see, it's all just based on physical damage, and then I also have fire damage added afterwards. So the fire damage I do with this build is about 50% of my physical damage increase, about 47%. So if I'm about 1,000 on my regular damage, then I'll add up another 500 or so, 470. That's an estimate. So for my support gems, I actually just went with added fire damage, of course, for all those skills, and then Life Leech for Vengeance and Heavy Strike. Now I didn't put Life Leech on Cleave, Leap Slam, or Sweep. I didn't really have the sockets for it. I probably could if I move some things around, but for right now it seems to work well with Heavy Strike for the single targets that do a lot of damage because I can wipe all the weak enemies out and then just Heavy Strike the last guy down, which knocks him back. Does huge amounts of damage. I think it's the d.p.s for that's my most powerful attack is up at 3841. And since it also has Life Leech, and I also, through my skills, have more Life Leech, this is about 10% of my damage. My overall damage will be leeched back, so I gain a lot. And not only that, I also have Warlords Mark, which is a curse, which adds more Life Leech and Mana Leech. And a few other things. It's actually really good for this build. So I could curse a group of enemies and tough guys if they're not immune, and then just dive right in, do a sweep, hit as many people as I can, and then cleave anybody else. So I use sweep if I'm surrounded or have an enemy in front and behind me, and then I'll use cleave if they're focused in front of me for more damage. And then once it gets down to it, then I'll use heavy strike. And then of course vengeance helps me with additional it's about 100% of my weapon damage that it does whenever that procs. Also, I have Herald of Ash. Now this uses 25% of my mana pool. So right now I'm at 288. It'll use 25% of that, which is what, 50. 70 mana. That it reserves for Herald of Ash. But what Herald of Ash does is it gives me 15% additional fire damage. It takes 15% of my total physical damage and adds that as fire damage. And then not only that, when I kill an enemy, any damage over what I killed them with, overkill damage, it will make them have a small AoE of that overkill damage. So when you're killing things rapidly like you do with two-handed weapons and high melee damage increases, you will put a dot on everybody else that's around that dead enemy, especially if you hit them really hard. Now, another main thing about this build is that I went with no criticals, so that means that I went with Resolute Techinque. Hits cannot be evaded, so that means I no longer have to worry about accuracy. It's 100%, so I'll do a sweep. It'll hit everybody around me. There's no chance that'll miss, unless, of course, I desync, but that's just kind of common in this game. But of course, you never deal critical strikes. What that does is it makes it so that I don't have to focus on critical strikes, just focus on just pure melee damage, standard melee damage, and then don't have to worry about accuracy. Those are kind of point sinks. So with the Marauder already, they're not very accurate. They're not, huge critical monsters unless you go way off the tree and, they have a very specific build. So that works very well. And also I kind of got some other passives. +2, I went quite far off the normal tree for +2 to melee and unarmed range. So that gives me a little bit more of a radius for my AoEs and hits those guys a little farther out, which is great. And then also I went pretty damn far over. I didn't even realize I was close to it, so I picked it anyway. Ignore movement penalties for armor. That's not too bad. So I have some life leech, some life per kill. Not too much, nothing crazy. So it's just, overall, this is kind of an all-around build for just life, melee damage. And as you see, my mana maintains really well. All my gear is kind of balanced as far as everything goes, but none of it is really off of how I wanted to build this character. So anyway, well, that's about the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and be looking forward to more videos like this one. I have a couple other characters I want to put up. I believe a minion witch and I believe they're called hunters or something. I haven't been playing the game enough to memorize everything of this. I'm just so used to Diablo and stuff. So anyway, if you enjoyed this or any other videos, make sure to like and or subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.